Welcome to the world-famous Homegrown Half Hour here on Radio Xenu. If you want to get more information on what we're up to, it's radiozenu.com. And we've got a fantastic guest with us today. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself here in just a second. But if you want to get a hold of us on the internet, it's radiozenu.com. And follow us on Twitter at Radio Xenu. And I know I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm going to go ahead and let him do his own introduction here and give us a little bit on his background, and then we're going to talk about his music. So go ahead and jump in there, my friend.
Sure. My name is Sarantos, and I'm a solo music artist performing mostly soft rock and pop songs, and started releasing my first song January 2nd of this year. And the first CD is going to be officially launched November 18th of this year. So each month I'm releasing one new song the first Tuesday of the month to kind of tease the fans.
So why did you decide to do that? Where you release songs on a certain schedule?
Sure. I think, when I look at most of the bands that I've followed, as well as the artists available today, I think most people just release an album every 2 to 3 years. They have a few good songs on it, and they promote it, and then they just kind of forget about it. I wanted to really interact with the fans. I don't want the fans to ever forget about me. So my plan was just to release, every Tuesday to release something to the fans.
Yeah.
So the first Tuesday of the month, a new song. Second Tuesday of the month, a new video. Third and fourth Tuesdays of the month, there's something going on. So I don't want to give them a chance to forget about me.
That's a cool way of doing things, my friend. We've got a tremendous guest with us today here on the line. Tell me about how you started doing music. How did you get interested in doing the music thing?
I think when I was a kid, my family was very musical. None of my parents played any instruments, but any opportunity we had to sing, dance, we always took advantage of it. And I've always, I think, grown up loving music. And my true passion is writing lyrics, and I started that about fourth grade. I tried to pretend I could write lyrics when I was younger than that, but I think at fourth grade was when they all kind of started making sense and kind of just expanded from there. We've
got a tremendous guest with us today here on the line. And how do we connect with you online? What's the website and all that information?
Sure. So my stage name is Sarantos, which is Sarantos. And you can definitely look up all my information. But the main website is www.melogia.com. And on the website, you can listen to all the songs for free, watch the videos on YouTube for free. And there's links connecting us to the Facebook and Twitter pages. But if you just search Sarantos or Sarantos Music or something, we'll pop up at the top of pretty much every search engine.
Sarantos with us today here on Radio Xenu. Check us out at radiozenu.com. Now, Sarantos, tell me about this name. This is a very unusual name. Where did you get the name, my friend?
Basically, Sarantos is how you say my name, which is Sam in Greek. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool stage name, and that's why I chose it.
Sarantos with us today here on the Homegrown Half Hour here on Radio Xenu, radiozenu.com. We're going to play Not Where I Want to Be here in just a few moments. Tell me about this track.
So this track is the actual title of the first album that I released. And the song is called Not Where I Want to Be. And it's basically a slow, mellow ballad. It's a soft rock song. And it really is about a guy looking at turning 30 the next day. And I think there's that time in everyone's life. Some people haven't gotten there yet. But when you go from your 20s to your 30s, it's a pretty big transition in your life. And I think it kind of meant to me that you're going from an opportune time in your 20s when you're young, you're energetic, you feel like you can do anything, whether it's be a rock star, go to Hollywood, play in the NFL. And I think when you hit 30, you get to that realization that hopefully you're happy in what you're doing and you're on your chosen career path. And not everybody is, but it's just kind of this dramatic turn in your life where you might not necessarily have the opportunity you did when you were younger. So it kind of scares him. His reality is different from what he dreams about every night, and that's kind of the point of the song.
Sarantos with us today. Not Where I Want to Be. Here it is, here on Radio Xenu and radiozenu.com. Sarantos, hold the line. We'll be back with you here in just a few moments, my friend.
Sure.
Sarantos with us today here on the Homegrown Half Hour. You can get more information on us. You can go over to radiozenu.com and get more information on the Homegrown Half Hour. So, Sarantos, tell us a little bit about the music scene where you're from, my friend.
From the Chicago area, and I do think we have a pretty happening music scene in Chicago.
Okay.
Some other parts of the country might disagree, but I think there's a unique blend here.
We've got Sarantos with us today here on the big broadcast. Now, with you releasing the music that you're releasing and doing all the different things that you're doing, are you planning on touring to support any of the music that you're putting out there, my friend?
That is part of the plan, but right now I'm trying to get together my first band with this album. So that's the challenge I'm having right now, finding some talented musicians that are in the area that wouldn't mind touring. And I did get invited up to Toronto for Canadian Music Week.
That's pretty cool.
So that's my intention.
Not everybody and their brother gets invited to do something that cool, so be proud of that accomplishment. We've got Sarantos with us today here on the big broadcast, coast to coast and boulder to boulder on the Homegrown Half Hour. And we mentioned there a little bit about the touring and different things. How are you using social media? How has that affected your music?
Social media is very exciting to me, and I try to use it just to get the word out about who I am, my music, what I'm trying to do. And unlike a lot of other artists, I'm handling it all myself, so I'm not having a marketing agency or someone else. It's basically me responding to every comment, post, private message. And I think it's very exciting, and it's kind of cool to me to get to interact with the fans because that's really why I'm doing it. So I think, in today's day and age, Facebook's, Twitter, YouTube, it's all very important to have a presence, and the fans are going to decide if they like your message and your music, and if they do, they will let everybody know about it. That's basically what I'm trying to do.
Sarantos with us today here on the Homegrown Half Hour, coast to coast and boulder to boulder. He's talking with us today about his music and everything else. Do you remember how the idea of getting into music first came up?
I think, as a kid, I started. My first love was probably lyrics, and after that, the music. And growing up, I loved listening to all sorts of cool bands and any music I could get my hands on. Yeah. And it just kind of kept, growing inside of me. And I can't tell you a specific moment, but it was just always there. Anytime I was sad, happy, I always turned to music. Incredible
stuff. We've got Sarantos with us today here on the program, and we're going to be playing some more of his music here in just a second. Tell me about Nothing to Hide. That's going to be the next track that we're going to hear here on the Homegrown Half Hour.
Sure. Nothing to Hide is basically a soft rock song about someone who keeps getting accused by a significant other of infidelity or cheating on her. And the video is actually pretty cool because at the end, it really has nothing to do with any other person. What he's been trying to hide from her is his music. And that's his secret passion and what he wants to not ever hide from her. And I encourage people to check out the video, but I think it's a pretty cool twist at the end.
Well, here we go. It's called Nothing to Hide, and it's here on the Homegrown Half Hour.
Nothing to hide.
It is a great guest with us today here on Homegrown Half Hour. Nothing to Hide. Sarantos with us today. And Sarantos, welcome back. Tell me a little bit about some of the different live performances and things that you've done. Have you done a lot of performing in public? Or tell us a little bit about this, because you're kind of a mysterious character. We're just learning all sorts of things about you today, my friend.
With this current album, I have not done much touring or live performances yet because, as I mentioned, I'm getting a band together, and hopefully that'll be coming soon. And I have tried to network with some of the charities. Each song has a different charity associated with it, so I'm very open to doing live performances for free for any of the charities that are involved, or if anybody knows any other charitable causes, I'd be happy to perform for free and try to help them out, raise some money for them.
Well, you are in luck. we have a nonprofit organization that we do the exact same thing here in Kansas. So I will be in touch with you about what it might take to get you out here, as far as travel and everything, to get you out here to do some stuff for us. But back to everything here. Tell me a little bit about your live performances. What is a live performance like for folks that have never seen you live?
I think the best way to describe it is there's a story to each of my songs. So usually before the song, I'll kind of talk a little bit about the inspiration and motivation behind the song. And I like being a storyteller. And then each performance, each song depends on what we're doing, but usually we try to get the crowd very into it. Obviously we cater to whatever city we're playing in. And we try to be very authentic. So I don't sit up there trying to sound auto-tuned. I really try interacting with the fans. Sometimes I'll walk into the crowd, but it's different. It's very interactive, and it's really all about the fans. I don't think they want to just have someone sit up there just playing all night and not really talk to them. So the talking is very genuine, sincere. It's not fake. It's not rehearsed. It's really interactive.
Sarantos with us today here on the Homegrown Half Hour, and tell us a little bit about some of your favorite moments doing music.
I think to me, the favorite moments that I recall off the top of my head are when I feel like I've really made a difference. And, we talked earlier about social media, but when somebody sends me a message saying, hey, you know what, your first song, The Charity, is the American Cancer Society, and I can relate to this, because like your father, my father had cancer, and the stories, the back and forth, when I feel like I can make a difference to anybody, young, old, male, female, when I feel like I've really touched them in a unique way, that really to me means the most. And that's what I remember the most out of it, is the interaction with the fans.
It is the Homegrown Half Hour. It's Sarantos with us today here on the big broadcast. Now, how important do you rate the lyrical side of your albums and your music?
To me, I rate that number one. When I start writing a song, usually I'll start the lyrics and then put the music to it. Sometimes I'll actually do the music first and then write lyrics for it. I could do it either way, but to me, the whole driving force is the lyrics. And I know some artists, you can barely tell what the singer's saying in the music or the drums or the bass or the guitar is cranked up, but to me it's the opposite. I want people to hear the voice above everything else, and that's another reason why in all the videos I put the lyrics on the bottom, because I don't want people to guess at what I'm saying. I want them to be able to know what I'm saying. I think the lyrics drive the emotion of the song, they drive the vibe of the song, and they really drive what people remember about the song, I think.
It is Sarantos with us today here on the Homegrown Half Hour, coast to coast and border to border. RadioZenu.com is our official website if you want to get more information on Sarantos. We're going to have some information up there on RadioZenu.com. Once this broadcast airs, we'll have some information up there of how you can get his music and interact with him online. Tell us about what you've got coming up this year as far as music plans and live performances and things of that nature.
I guess a lot of it will depend on the response I get from the fans, but the Toronto thing is in May, and hopefully by then I think the band will be up and we can start performing consistently in the Chicago area and then wherever people want us to. So everything, I guess, is driven by the fans, and I currently am unsigned, so I don't have a label promoting me.
Yes.
I can't tell you for sure if that's something that will happen in the future, but for now I've kind of resisted that just because I want to try to raise as much money for charity as I can. But realistically, if things go well, I'm sure at some point we'll sign with a label, and that'll, affect the tour plans also, I guess.
Sarantos with us today. We've got one more track we're going to hear, Back and Forth. Tell us about this track.
So this is, your listeners are getting a sneak peek. No one's heard this yet. It's being released on Tuesday. So Back and Forth is a pop, smooth song, and it's really, when you look at what does it mean to be human, humans at some point in your life or day are ultimately indecisive. And it could be indecision about a romantic companion, it could be about what you want to eat for dinner, it could be anything. And it's a song about someone who just can't make up their mind, and his mood swings endlessly and carelessly. So that's really what the song's about.
Well, here we go. It's called Back and Forth. We're going to wrap it up with Sarantos after this track here on the Homegrown Half Hour. It's Sarantos today here on the return of the Homegrown Half Hour here on Radio Xenu. You can get more information on what we're up to over there at radioxenu.com. And we've got a few moments left to go here with Sarantos before we let him go. I know he's got a terribly, terribly busy schedule, and I wanted to make sure we got him in today here on Radio Xenu. Tell me about where people can connect with you online once again, some of your shows you've got coming up, and when some more music's going to be released from you.
Sure. My main website is melogia.com, which is www.melogia.com. You can hook up with me on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube if you just search my name, Sarantos. Sarantos Music will pop up number one. There's also links from the website where you can get to all these social media areas. And love to have anybody come out to Toronto for Music Week. And again, feel free to message me anytime for any events.
Well, it is an amazing, amazing piece of business. I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for being on, and looking forward to talking to you on some of our other radio programs and seeing more from you, my friend. So thanks for being on with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. It is Sarantos, and it is the Homegrown Half Hour. You can get more information on the Homegrown Half Hour over there at radioxenu.com, and we're also available over there at kjagradio.com. That is the Homegrown Half Hour for this week. Sarantos is available on Twitter, Facebook. He's all over the place, and you're going to want to check this guy out. He is an amazing, amazing artist. And we're going to take a time out here for the Homegrown Half Hour.